All right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Feel free to download these free PDF files that are in English and Spanish in the description. Print them off, perform them. Come on back, look at this video, and see how you did. Give me a big thumbs up if you like it. All right, all right. This is Algebra 1 Equations. This is your first practice before the big you-know-what. All right, here we go. To solve this equation right here, I'm going to go ahead and isolate my variable term. So here's my variable term right here. That's 5x. And so I'm going to get this constant term over to the right side with the 33. Inverse operations. Simplify. 5x, that goes to 0, equals 33 minus 8. That's 25. All right, now we got to get the inverse operation for multiplication. Inverse operation for multiplication is division. 5 divided by 5 is 1x. 25 divided by 5 is 5. You're done. You are done. Good job, kiddos. Good job. All right. Now notice on this side, we have some simplifying to do before we can solve. So the simplifying we need to perform is distribution. So let's go ahead and distribute this through. I'm going to turn up that volume a little bit. All right, so you do 6 times m and 6 times negative 7. That's 6m. Positive times a negative is a negative. 6 times 7 is 42. Equals negative 30. Okay, now we just got a two-step equation like over here. So identify that variable term. There it is right there. Move those constants over. So plus 42 to both sides. Simplify. That means you rewrite it. That goes to 0. Equals 12. That's 6 times n. So the inverse operation for multiplication is division. And m equals 2. Let's go. Keep going. Okay, this one looks a little tricky, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Notice what you got here is you got these like terms on the left side of the equal symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and combine those first. 1 plus 3 minus minus makes a plus. So that is true. Now I'm going to combine those. And that is a 10p equals 61. That's my variable term. Constant, constant. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, just like that. And I get 10p equals 60. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take this up here. That's 10 times p. The inverse operation for multiplication is division. That right? And p equals 6. Not bad, not bad. Ooh, this one looks a little tricky. But again, I see the first thing I notice is I have those parentheses. So that implies distribution is going to happen. Notice I did not highlight the 22, right? The 22 just comes straight down. So the 22 comes straight down. And what I'm going to distribute is the negative, which is like a negative 1. Negative 1 times 6, negative 6. Negative times a negative is a positive 4a. And then I'm just going to write the rest. Okay, let's take a look at that. Looks like I have like terms. Those terms are like, and they're on the same side of the equal symbol. So I'm going to combine them. 22 minus 6 is, I think that's 14, maybe 16. I'm going to say 16. Plus 4a equals 6a minus 14. Okay, now notice on this problem, we have variables on both sides. So you have these variables and these variables on both sides of the equal symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to inverse operation my 6a over. The opposite of positive or a plus is a minus. Always simplify at this point. Bring down your 16. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. And that equals a whole lot of negative 14 because that went to 0. Okay, now notice that I have constant terms on both sides. So I have this term and this term. So I'm going to go ahead and move my 16 over. The inverse operation for a plus is a minus. If I do it to one side, I got to do it to the other. I'm going to come up here. 16 minus 16 is 0. I'm left with negative 2a equals negative 30 when I combine those. Now inverse operation for multiplication is division. So a equals 15. Boom, we're done. Nice job. All right. Let's keep going, kiddos. Let's keep going. Here's number 5. Okay, so I always take a minute and look and see what I'm dealing with. So I'm dealing with distribution twice on that side and that side, so that's not bad. Distribution twice. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 6 times f. That's 6f. Positive times a negative is negative. 6 times 2 is 12. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 3 times a positive 6 is negative 18. Negative times a negative right here is a positive 9f. Okay, so this is another situation where I have variables on both sides. I got those, and then I also have constants on both sides, all right? Let's deal with the variables first. Inverse operation of a plus 9f is a minus 9f. So I do that to both sides. Rewrite it. Negative 3f minus 12 equals negative 18. All right, now I'm going to move those constants over. Opposite of a minus 12 is a plus 12. I'm going to simplify up and over here. So that gives me negative 3f is equal to, this is 0, that is negative 6. Inverse operation for multiplication is division. So I have f equals 2. Boom. We done. That's not bad. Okay, this is called a proportion. So a proportion you saw by cross multiplying. So I take this, boom, multiply it by that. And then I take this here, boom, and multiply it by that. Okay, so cross multiply. This gives me 3 times 9 minus j. So I have to multiply 3 by both of those terms. And I'm going to set that equal to 5 times j minus 1. Again, I have to multiply 5 by both of those terms. Okay, so now this is distribution. That's 27. Positive times negative is a negative 3j. Distribution again. 5 times j. And 5 times negative 1. Okay, now I notice that I have variables on both sides. So I have these 5j's over here, and I have these negative 3j's over there. All right, so I'm going to simplify, not simplify, I'm going to do inverse operation. Opposite of a plus 5j is a minus 5j. Now I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to have to go over here to do that. Okay, so I get 27. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Remember, what's in front of a term stays with it, like so. All right, now I got to move these constants over. So I'm going to take these 27 because I've already got my variables over here. They're safe. They're where I want them. But I need to get these constants over with these constants. That goes to 0. Negative 8j equals negative 32. Inverse operation for multiplying by 8 is dividing by the 8. And that gives me j equals a 4, because a negative divided by a negative is positive. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's move on. Okay, so the next question is a fractional coefficient question. So we're going to do it exactly the same, right? Here's my variable term right there. So I have my variable term. I'm going to go ahead and inverse operation my plus 8 over to get that constant with that constant. And I get that. Rewrite it. That's 0. That's what I wanted. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 2/3. Some people will say multiply by the reciprocal. That's okay. But if you have a calculator, you can go ahead and do that. Now when you do this, it's really important that you put it in parentheses. So when you divide by a fraction, you must put it in parentheses. Boom. Now notice those people that multiply by the reciprocal means flip the fraction. You get the same answer, right? So either method works. I get x equals negative 15. Okay, now let's go ahead and check your answer. So to check your answer, you go to the original equation. Where you see an x, you replace it with the value that you just solved for. So I'm going to put that negative 15 right there. Now at this point, you can just use your calculator and simplify the left side. 2 divided by 3 times negative 15 plus 8, and press enter. Negative 2. So all of this simplifies to negative 2. Bring this down. Bring this down. Is that true? That is true. You're done. That's the check. That's all you have to show me to get full credit on the check. Show me the original equation with the number you solved for. Make sure it works. If it doesn't work, then double check to make sure you type that in first. And then if that still doesn't work, go back here and check your solving skills. All right? Okay, so notice right here on number 8, we have distribution. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. I always start from left to right. I like good habits. That's what math's about. 3/8 times 1x, well, 3/8 times 1 is 3/8. A positive times a negative is a negative, and 3/8 times 1 is 3/8. Okay, now I got to get my variables over to the left-hand side. So I'm going to take the positive 3/8, and I'm going to inverse operation it over. So opposite of a plus is a minus, like so. Now if you use your calculator, and you can, I think you're going to get a negative 1/4. So it's going to be 1 divided by 4 minus 3 divided by 8. That's what a fraction part means, division. Equals that. I'm going to keep it in fraction form, so math, enter, enter, but you could use that terminating decimal if you want. That is negative 1/8 x plus 2 equals negative 3/8. All right, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. Boom, boom. When I do so, that's the inverse operation for plus 2, right? Move the constants to the right. Fractions are constants as long as there's no variable attached. It's a constant. Equals negative 3/8 minus 2. Equals, I'm going to hit math frac, and that's negative 19 over 8. Okay, now I got negative 1/8 times x, so I'm going to divide by negative 1/8. Again, you could multiply by the reciprocal, and that'd be fine. Reciprocal means you flip the fraction, so that would be negative 8 over 1. That would be the reciprocal of that. I know this. I know that negative 1/8 divided by negative 1/8 is 1. So that's 1x equals negative 19. Let me clear this so you can see the top of my calculator. Negative 19 divided by 8 divided by, now if you're dividing by a fraction, you must put it in parentheses, like so. And that's 19. That's it, you're done. X equals 19. That wasn't bad. Just one step at a time. One step at a time. Stay strong and focus on everything you're doing. Do not be distracted. Get your cell phone out of the way. Get all of your distraction out of the way. Focus on you. You're important. All right, now, let's solve this decimal equation. Again, what I notice right away is there's one term with a variable. That's my variable term. Constant, constant. So inverse operation for minus 5 is plus 5. Rewrite it, simplify. That goes to 0. 1.2m equals, that gives me 4.8. Okay, that's 1.2 times m. So divide by 1.2. This goes to 1m. 4.8 divided by 1.2 is 4. You can use your calculator, but I saw it, so I wrote it. M equals 4. Okay, this one says solve and place answer in decimal form. By the way, you should always try it before you watch me do it, right? You got to give an effort. Make your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and then try again. That's how life works. That's how you learn. So, don't cheat yourself out of that learning process. All right, notice you have variables on both sides, there and there. I'm going to go ahead and move these negative 0.33s over. So that's plus 0.33. That 0 there is just holding that ones column. All right, it's just showing you that it's there's 0 ones, 0.33. So plus 0.33. Simplify. That's 0.4p when you add those up on your calculator or in your head. And that goes to 0. Okay, now I'm going to inverse operation my plus 1 over. So minus 1. 0.4p equals negative 0.2 when you put that in your calculator. Inverse operation for multiplication is division. So p equals negative 0.2 divided by 0.4. So negative 0.2 divided by 0.4. They asked me to leave it in decimal form. That's decimal form. We're done. Negative 0.5. If you put 0.5, that's fine. Both work. All right, so that's p equals negative 0.5. And kiddos, that is the end of this video. Stay strong, believe in yourself, and get this job done. All right, enjoy.